Okay. Hello, good afternoon and good evening, everyone. This is Yield taking the call today from Amsterdam again, the Netherlands. I hope you all had a great weekend and hope your work is going well. For those of you who are cheering for France in the World Cup yesterday, congratulations. I was hoping for Croatia, but unfortunately they didn't make it. But anyway, today and actually from now on every week we want to use this hour or whatever time you need to talk a bit about the program. We will share our latest updates, as well as for you, this is the chance to, one, ask questions, express some challenges you face, but also very much to share updates. So whatever activities you have been doing in the past week, please feel free to share it during this session. So the other advocates are able to learn from you what you are doing, as well as to get inspired and provide with advice and everything. So we really showcasing and see the work happening from now towards the end of the program. Updates from our side, I think we have spoken to most of you now after having submitted the June reports, and I have to say, yeah, very impressive to see what's going on, the activities you have planned in terms of the handover events, but also the My World collection, the human stories. Some of you have already submitted a lot of votes, a lot of stories, so that's great news. The registration for the Global Day of Action is now live, so you can go to the website and register your action. So that's one thing I would like to update you on, and I think that's the major update from us for now. And then, as I shared during most individual conversations, we have this opportunity for some funding from the regional bureau in Bangkok. We won't have funding for all of the advocates, so we'd really encourage you to submit a joint proposal for each of the countries, because that will help strengthen the case. So if you as advocates from Thailand or Vietnam come together, then we'll definitely be able to ensure some funding. If we receive, let's say, two different proposals from Philippines, then we have to see if we're going to divide the money or we have to pick one of them. So if you work together as a group of advocates in your country, that's then we can ensure that some funding is allocated to that. So that's a short update on that. I think for now I would just like to open it. Maybe we can start with questions already. Is there anyone who has a question related to the program, activities plans, whatever it is, or some challenges to share? Please feel free to ask now and yeah, express yourself. Does anyone wants to start? I also see that we have one viewer on YouTube. Whoever that is, we would prefer if you join us here via the Google Hangout. My colleague has shared the link, so just to make sure we're all on the right channel. Okay, if there are no questions so far, or then maybe
I would like.
Yes.
I would like to ask though. Yes. Regarding before, as I said, I would like to change the project from the hackathon to the speaking session. Would that be possible? Because after I went through the proposal, it's more feasible and easier to reach to the potential partners.
Yeah, no, that's definitely possible. And can you briefly introduce yourself for those who are watching, that they know who you are? If you have the webcam, please turn it on. If not, you can just introduce yourself.
Wait, let me open it. All right. Hello, my name is Natapat from Thailand. My nickname is Win.
Okay.
Yes.
Great, thank you. Now we have all been able to see you, and great to see that you are connected. Yes, no, it's very much possible to change. Although you had initially submitted you're going to do a hackathon, if you now think that a different format works better for you, then yeah, please do so. I think that's also what we hope to do with this session, is that some of the advocates are sharing the work they're doing. And then if you think, hey, this might be a better fit for me, then feel free to adjust and change and incorporate those things. And I think in line with that, Nutapat, I think it would be great. We have shared last week a proposal from the Cambodian advocates. We've been working together, as well as I believe we have shared a proposal from Brunei, if I'm correctly. So if you look at those two examples, it would be great if you could create a similar document, either alone or with the other advocates from Thailand. Because if we have received this, we will be able to provide some input and feedback, as well as that will really help us to when we are receiving the application for funding to make the right decision. And with that having said, let me also emphasize once more that we would really encourage you to take photos and videos along the way, so that we know what's happening, and you not only for your own track record, but also for us both to publish it on our social media accounts, to give attention to you, as well as to make a better judgment when applications for funding are coming in. So thanks for that question. Are there any other questions or challenges people might face?
For the challenge I faced, I have to admit that this is pretty interesting for the adjusting the program, because during I also go here and there for some times, so I will meet with another partners from the Bangkok, which I will meet him on 24 for another advocate in Thailand as well. So I plan to collaborate with him to fit the challenge, to overcome the challenge of the working alone, because I prefer to working together to create more impact, and we could reach more potential partners. Yes.
Yeah, no, that's great. Happy to hear so. And I have introduced most of the other advocates already to the country office. But for you, since you were traveling last week, I haven't done so yet. So once you have been together with the other advocate from Thailand, and you have kind of a joint strategy or plan, please share it with us. And then based on that, I will make the introduction to both the Bangkok national team as well as to the regional hub. Because in Thailand, we have two offices. One is focused within Thailand, and the other one is for the whole region. But both of them are very closely affiliated with us. So I can then make those introductions so that you can have those follow-up discussions and see how best they can support you and the other advocate in your work.
Thank you so much. Happy to hear that.
Great. Well, let me share my screen. Let's see if this is working. If there are other questions, please feel free to jump in and ask. Okay, you see now the ASEAN My World results, huh? And you see that some of the partners, some have already been very active online. You can see others I know that have already collected a lot of offline votes, but they are not yet updated here because we haven't received the Excel file. But what I just wanted to show you is let's say also the map here, and also for you, Nutapat. You see that, for example, in Thailand, most of the votes, if not all, come from the Bangkok region. So in case you have friends or colleagues or people within your network who live and work in different cities, for example, in Chiang Mai in the north, or well, in the other areas, feel free to reach out to them and see if they want to work together with you. And they can either mobilize people in their own university or in their own school, either to spreading the survey online or offline. So it would be great if you can get some, let's say, supporters or amplifiers on board. And in case they will do a significant number of work, we are also able to provide them with some volunteer certificates. Yeah, so I think especially in Thailand, because both of the advocates, they are in Bangkok. But it would be great to fill up this map a little bit more so that we also get input from not only the capital city, but also other regions. And I think the same counts for all the other advocates. Please try to reach out if you see on your map, hey, there are some areas missing. Let's see if you can find people in your network of friends which actually are going to participate, because ideally we would like to see this map filled with spots all over the countries. So that's just a quick note on that. Of course, it's not a compulsory, or if you have no one in your network, don't worry. But yeah, the more the better, I would say.
All right.
So that's on that. And we are of course here to support and help out. And I think on that note, also my colleague Mangoy, she's going to introduce you to all the unsuccessful applicants who have indicated that they are willing to join the country team. So I've seen the list, which is growing. We're still getting responses in. And I'm sure, Ngoy, do you have a timeline? When are you planning to make those introductions or connections?
This week, we will make the introduction this week. So I will send out an email to all the advocates and link them with the one who expressed an interest to join this week.
Okay, great. Yeah. Thank you for that. So this week you will be introduced to the unsuccessful applicants who are willing and have expressed interest in joining the country team. So it would be great if you can think already a bit about how do you want to engage them. Are you just asking them to spread the online survey in the network, or do you also want to have them play a more active role in, for example, the handover event, or even have them organize local actions in their respective communities and regions? So we really leave this open to you. So think about it yourself, and ideally discuss it also with the other advocates from your country, how best you're going to make use of them. Also, in terms of, let's say, materials, we haven't shared anything with them. So it's up to you to decide if you want to, which toolkits you want to share. If you also want to point them out to some of the webinars that have been given by us, so that they can see and read up a bit on the materials. But really, we leave this up to you. So think about it, so that when those introductions are being made, you have a clear plan in mind. And of course, the best would be if you discuss it with the other advocates from your country, because let's say if we have 10 people interested to join the teams in, for example, Philippines, then if each of you individually send them a different message on how they can join, it might be confusing for them. Well, if you have a joint strategy that you say, well, you can either join in this and this events, that you have one email listing out the different events you're organizing, or in the case you organize one event altogether, that's even easier. So please think about that a bit. But feel free to, whenever we make the introductions, it's you leading on it. So we won't be interfering or communicating in between. It's just between you and those who have expressed interest. So I think that's on that note. If there are no more questions, then I would like each of you to briefly present what have you been doing in the past weeks, and what is, let's say, the most exciting thing that's coming up in the coming weeks. Maybe we can start with from left to right. Can we start with Janelle?
All right. Hi. So yesterday we actually had an activity.
Can you also either turn on the webcam or briefly introduce yourself, the country you're from, and the activity? Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have any webcam. I don't have any access to the webcam right now. But I'm from the Philippines, the northern part of the Philippines. It's called the summer capital as well, and I'm engaged with the grassroots level, so with the community folks and the youth as well from the northern part of the Philippines. So yesterday we had actually an activity, and this activity was related to disaster risk reduction management. So how to protect yourself from earthquakes or landslide or disasters. And part of our registration, we tried to set up a computer where they could try to have their inputs for the survey. We were able to collect about 25 there. And a while ago, I was able to talk to the Sangguniang Kabataan, which is actually the youth branch of the government in the Philippines. So we're going to have a meeting this 21st. And I think we're going to get their participation for the September event. So that's on my end here on the northern part of the Philippines.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And I also look forward to talking more to you tomorrow.
Yeah, that's right.
Great. Okay, next, maybe Leopea, can you tell us a bit about what you've done in the past weeks and what's coming up?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. And also,
yes,
please introduce yourself. Yeah, great.
Oh, hi. I'm an advocate from Cambodia. And last week, the exciting thing was we met with Nadine and another Cambodian advocate, Vietnam, at Vietnam office. And we discussed a lot about this program and what we gonna do. And Nadine gave a lot of advice and comment as well. And so I think what we have to do from now on is to plan and to make clear plan actually on timeline and things to do and who's to do it. And I'm working on it with Visna right now. And I can share with you desktop Google Hangouts. I can share with you our plan. So you can see here the ASEAN My World plan I did with Visna. And we want to do workshop talk at different platform and collect vote and many things, and especially for handover event, which I discussed with Nadine and Viesna. And actually, the handover is on the September 25th, but we were talking whether we can move it to September 24th, which will be a question for you. Yes. And the time frame here, we designed the time frame, but we will have to revise it a little bit because I and Viesna has our job to do as well. And also we have some kind of repetition here, but we will revise it and send to you. And here we list down, last week we list down our partner and stakeholders. So you can see different color that Nadine helped us. In the green one, Nadine helped us, and in the black one, the network of Viesna, and where the blue one is my network. So we will be, this is a lot of network. And what we have to do, we will have to prioritize which network we can work with immediately and easily one. We will go to that one first. And you can see there are many different kinds of network. We have ASEAN Youth Leader Association, which is Vietnam organization, and YRDP also working with youth, and PS Cam ASEAN, they working on LGBT people. So the next one is children with disability. We try to list down different organizations that we think we can reach out to them. And we just don't want to work with youth. We want diversity, different people, different background for this program. That's why we try to list down all of this. And here for the government, like I told you in our individual talk, that we want to attach the government into our program. And Nadine gave us idea that it's maybe difficult for us advocates to talk to the government, and she said she will try to connect us with UNDP official here, so they will help us to do the connection with the government and invite them to our handover event. And the embassy, actually, this is all from Nadine because both Viesna and I don't have that kind of connection with them yet. And as for the budget plan, Nadine also gave us good sign that maybe we can get fund from them. And so Viesna and I are working on the budget plan as well. Nadine also helped us with the events. She told us the event that are coming up in Cambodia that is organized by the UNDP and ASEAN in Siem Reap province, which I and Viesna are not there, but another advocate is in Siem Reap. So maybe we will connect Viesna with Nadine. So not Viesna, Nguyen with Nadine, so he can join this event because it's related to SDG as well. So I think that is all from this side. Yes.
Yeah, great, Leba. Thank you so much for sharing that update with us. And I think it's Thank you so much for sharing that update with us. And I think you're doing really great work, and it's great to see that you have been connected to the other Cambodian advocates, that you have worked together on this document. And in your case, also were able to meet with Nadine, as you all might recall. She's working for the Bangkok Regional Hub, but she is based some weeks in a month in Cambodia. So I think it's very beneficial for you and the other Cambodian advocates that you were able to meet up with her. But to all of the advocates, maybe to start with, I think I would recommend having a look at this document, because in the Facebook group, the link has been shared. And I think the link has also been shared by my colleague via email last week in the update email. Please have a look at the document. And I think this is really a great way of how you could go about it. So make logical sense of all the different plans and elements that you're going to do. I also really love the partner mapping, to see that you put in your own network, that your colleagues put in their network, and then of course it's great that also Nadine was able to help out with some other suggestions. I think for all of you, I would recommend doing the same. List out your own network, list out the network of your either colleague advocates who you're working with, or people in your network that can help amplify. And then when you, for example, meet with the regional or with the country teams of the UN, which we introduce you to, and they can also add to that. But I think everything really stands or begins with yourself having already such a document in place. So in the case of Lepea and Viesna, and then they already had this document. So when they met with Nadine, So you could see like, oh, this is the biggest strategy, these are the different elements, and I can add with my knowledge and network to each of those sections. Well, if you have nothing on paper, then when you meet with the UN colleagues, there will be a bit like, okay, but what are you going to do? Which direction? All of that. So it will become much more difficult for them to help you in a concrete way. So that's why we would really advise you to create a similar document. Yeah, list down the different events, the people in your network, and when you reach out to them, and that's also what I would suggest now to Livia, make sure that your message is very clear when you reach out to them. What do you want from the partner? Is it that they just share for you the offline survey link, the online one, or do you want them to take offline action? Are you going to invite them to your handover event? Or so please be very precise when you email them, because they need to understand directly from the email, okay, what is it exactly that this person is asking for me, as well as what am I getting in return. So think about how are you going to reward them? Are you going to add their logo to your handover event, or whatever way it is? And if you have questions for us in terms of, hey, can we list them as an official partner and with our logo and all of that, please reach out, because we can work on that and see how we can meet their and your needs. But I think this is great. Maybe to answer your question in terms of the Global Day of Action, you're organizing something on the 24th of September. That's totally fine. I know that the 25th is on a Tuesday, and for some of you, it might be better to organize it, let's say, on a Friday, so you could do it the Friday before. For some of you, it might be better to do it on a Saturday because it's a weekend, so you are free from work and school. But then maybe other delegates find it more difficult to come in the weekend. So please think about it and look at your local context and see what works. And if it's on the 20th or the 24th or 25th, that's all fine for us. There's no problem with that. Let's say the benefit of doing it on the 25th would be that we might be able to have a live connection with our studio in New York. In New York, it's the high level, or it's the UN General Assembly. So we have a live studio and we broadcast and connect with different actions all over the world. So that will be the benefit of doing it on the 25th of September. However, the benefit of doing it before the 25th, let's say on the 20th or the 24th, is that you can take a video. If you share the video with us, then we have also within the live studio, we have a time frame that we're going to showcase videos from actions that are happening or have been happening all around the world. So if you just simply send us a video, which is either a compilation of your event or just in the end that you are standing and doing a quick recap, then we're also able to showcase that and use that on our social media. So whatever way it is, we will be able to help you and connect you also with the global UN process. And while that of course, it's a lot of fun and important, it also might help you in terms of getting partners on board. Because if you can tell the partner that, hey, the event I'm organizing, it's in partnership with the UN, with the UN SDG Action Campaign, but not only in partnership, actually what we are going to be discussing in our own community, in our school, in our region, is actually going to be feed in directly either live to New York, or the video with the outcomes will be shared. So I think that's often something partners are very excited about, that they have a chance to be connected with this global UN process as well, and have some of their logos secured or whatever it is. So make use of that connection. Really, when you talk to partners, make use of your connection with us, the UN, and that we have given you this mandate. So yeah, great work, Lebea, and yeah, to the others, please have a look at it and see what they are doing and try to learn from it. Maybe last thing, I know that there are elections in Cambodia at the moment. I spoke to the UN Residence Coordinators, which is the general UN team in Cambodia. And they were also very excited. They were going to contact Nadine and others to see how best to support. But they also told me that, yeah, maybe, and as well, Nan and some of you have expressed the same, is that especially before elections, it might be a bit difficult. So maybe it's better to focus now on the strategy and everything, and then really start implementing and doing the activities after the elections, so beginning of August.
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much for that. Then let's move on to Haju. Can you hear us? Yes, can you hear us, Noor? so please go ahead. And Lepe, can you mute your microphone?
Oh yeah, sure.
Okay. Can you hear us? Hello. Okay. Well, it seems it's not the case for now. So then let's move on with Nutapat. You already asked some questions before, but could you briefly tell about your plans and all of that?
Hi, my name is Natapat. Nickname is Win from Thailand. So for my plan on the project is to launch the speaking session in university regarding to the SDG and environmental issue, inviting the representative of the brands, the potential partners to come and give out the speaking of the business idea or how they come up with the products that helping the environmental issues and about SDG, how they development in terms. So primarily, I plan to reach the university as the main partner because they have mentioned me before about that they want more activities to make students connecting to each other more. So I will try to use this opportunity to reach to the university and propose them my ideas. If luckily they would support me either way. And I plan to partner up with the Token Ang. He's also the Bangkok University student, same with my university. So we plan to partner up and work together and see if we can reach more potential partners and helping work together. That's for my side for now. Yes.
Great, thank you very much for that update. And yeah, also very excited to see that evolve. And yeah, as I recommended to the others, also please have a look at the different documents we shared so you can see yeah, how to leverage and work from that. I think especially in your case, since you're based in Bangkok, and so many of our UN colleagues are based in Bangkok, and actually they are very supportive to the ASEAN My World survey, and they really want to see how they can increase the impact in Thailand. So I think if you can draft a similar proposal or document as Leopia has done with her colleagues, if you can do it together with your other advocate, and then go with that document to the UNDP country office as well as the regional center, they are able to give you many more connections even than Nadine has already provided to Leopia. They have extensive networks, and they're just waiting or seeing how to best activate them. So I think the potential for you is enormously. They're really supportive. They want to give you all of the contacts and all of the networks. So if you have a clear message and you will be able to amplify that to them, I really see that a lot can happen. Yeah, but it's important, I think, to get it right. So that's why I would really recommend get the first step of planning and thinking right. So create a similar document, and then once the document is there, I will make the introductions, and I'm sure that the same week that I make the introduction, you'll be able to visit them at the UN offices. And then from there on, I think really the project in Thailand can fly, can go far. And that's also exactly the reason why I haven't made the introduction so far, because I wanted you to get the first steps right, so that when you meet them, they see that, hey, this is an advocate who knows what he's doing, who has thought about the different elements of campaigning. And yes, we believe in him, so we are able to provide you with all the resources, toolkits. I'm sure that at the Bangkok office they even have some SDG material in terms of banners or flyers or cards, whatever it is. So yeah, really, if you get this first step right of creating this kind of document that Leopea has made, ideally together with your advocate, I think it has a lot of potential. So when you create the document, I think it will be also good for you to, okay, one, of course, you focus on your university, but it would also be great if you can think about what, if you would be able to get different contexts in other parts of Thailand, how are you going to activate them, or how are you going to use them? Because if you have some thinking and something on that on paper, that's something that's definitely interested to the country office and UNDP in terms of yeah, that you're not only focused on Bangkok, but also want to do outreach in other parts. And maybe good to emphasize is that especially the Thailand Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they will be chair of the ASEAN region or community next year in 2019. So especially they have been a huge driver and pusher of the survey and getting citizen voices and everything in the table. I believe and I expect that they're also going to organize some side events or events during both the high-level political forum, which happens in New York in July next year, as well as the UN General Assembly. So if you get your things right, I see huge potential also in terms of presenting some of the outcomes in New York and all of these different elements. So it's the challenge is on your side. It's, as I said in the beginning and many times, it's really up to you how much you take out of the program. You can make it as small and big as you want yourself. You can tick the box, do 500 My World votes, 500 humans of My World vote, 5 stories, and a handover event, and you're done. You accomplished your task, and we are very happy with you. But you can also think a bit bigger and really scale it up and see what happens. So I put that on your side, and yeah, let's see
All
where
right.
we can go. And
I'm really happy and looking forward to that. I mean, like, that would be great if after this program I can continue the momentum of the events and make it go on.
yeah, no, exactly. So that's great. Okay, then thank you very much on that. Then I see that Shafkat is trying to join, and he says he has some problem. So let's see if I can call him in via Skype and then share my screen. I think that's okay. Let's see. I'm trying to call him in now. I'm going to share my screen. Please give me 10 seconds. I'm trying to sort this out. Okay. Hello everyone. I'm back, and on my computer I have Shafkat. Shafkat, can you please introduce yourself briefly? Who are you and which country, and then ask your questions and share your update.
Hello everyone. I'm Shafkat. I'm from Singapore. Right now I'm actually in the road, so I'm sorry if it's a bit noisy. As for the updates, actually, I think the last couple of weeks didn't go as fast as I expected things to go, but I think that's because I've been building partnerships in the last couple of weeks. So I had plenty of meetings because I mentioned to ILT previously that I wanted to do something on food wastage and food security. So I've been trying to create like partnerships with the startups, NGOs, and like some activist groups in this area. But it was a bit disappointing because I think in Singapore the NGO culture is a bit not very friendly for NGOs, and the manpower is not so high, at least in those organizations. So it has been a bit slow. So I think I've planned to change my track, and I'm planning to do, as my plan was to just shoot a video. So I'm just planning to get in touch with the sector, people in those sector, meaning like farmers and like, you know, incineration plants where I need to shoot videos. And so I'm partnering with a friend of mine who's a photographer and videographer. And we're working on a script, and we'll just go there. In the meantime, I'm still sending email and text to those in that particular area on food wastage. And also another thing I wanted to do is to spread the the My World survey and also to raise awareness about the SDGs among the Rohingya refugee communities. That has been a bit slow as well because I'm waiting for people's replies, but like, I have gotten in touch with others. I'm hoping to receive something positive in this week or the next week. But the good news is one of the main events that I was looking forward to, which was as one of the events in my agenda, which was the Singapore Innovation Week and the convention, which will be organized by YSI. That event is going to happen from the 20th of July till the 29th of July. And hopefully I'll get the chance to meet one of the ministers in Singapore and probably make him take the survey and if possible feature him for one of the My World stories, because I think it will be very interesting to hear a minister's opinion on the SDGs and everything. And also I will also be given a half an hour slot for spreading to host a talk and discussion about the Sustainable Development Goals among the people who will be coming here. So we're expecting around 300 people. And also I gave a suggestion to the organizers is to have a room or like a sort of a presentation on the SDGs. So what they have introduced is an idea room. And in that idea room, basically we will be connecting people who have like thoughts on how to solve different type of SDGs and everything. Still a bit of a brainstorm phase, but I think hopefully during the time of the next call, I can give you a more concrete update. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for sharing that. Do you have at this time any specific questions for us?
Yes, I do actually.
Yes.
So one specific question I have is about the My World survey, because I've been going to the Facebook page and it seems pretty casual and everything, but I'm just trying to understand if you can give me some tips, because I know that I attended the webinar as well, but I'm just looking for something specific about what kind of questions should I be asking. Like, I understand that I need to make the person feel comfortable and everything, but what is the sort of question or the approach that I should be taking in asking the questions?
You mean for the Humans of My World stories?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good question, and I know we have the toolkits and shared some of that. How I approach it personally is that I have to dig back in my memory, because it's I've collected over 200 stories, and you have seen the book, but it has been a few years ago. But let me try to answer this on the spot. So what we did basically is, when, in my case, I was cycling on the way all the way from Netherlands to South Africa, Cape Town. And whenever we saw an interesting person, or whenever we stopped and had some time, we jumped off our bike and approached people on the street. And basically it started with a chat of how are you doing, how is life, and what's happening here, and telling me a bit of my background and what I'm doing and why I'm actually on the road with my bike. So in your case, why you're out on the street. And then you can tell a bit about this project you're engaged in, and which is about the SDGs and My World, and showcasing how people's priorities are important, people from all walks of life. And then I think from that you can shift to saying like, so if you would be open to it, I would like to ask a bit more about your personal relation with those goals, or what's going on in your life. And I think it's yeah, and then from there on you get to know a person, and I think if they open up, they tell about the work they do or the things they're interested in. A lot of noise now. Yeah. And
Hello, I'm not getting any audio.
No, there was a lot of noise on your side. Can you hear me again?
Oh yeah, I can.
Okay, great. Yeah, and from there on, you start interacting or talking to this person, and the person, if the person opens up, he will share more about the work he does, or the life he lives, and which areas he's interested in, and what he sees as challenges for his community, or actually what actions he's taking to already make a difference. So I think it can go many different ways. So and I think that's also what we try to express in this toolkit. I have a few guiding questions, and from there on, it's really, every conversation is different. So you have to adjust to see how it goes. And also in our case, often, or let's say at least at least half of the conversations you have, you won't be able to use in the end, let's say, to document a story. Because sometimes people are on a run, so they don't have much time. Sometimes people they don't feel it safe enough to, let's say, open up. So I think it really depends. And then there's the other side that I think we are really open to have the different kind. You can either have a personal story and someone shares his, let's say, a challenge they face in their community or in his personal life, and that's why he hopes for a goal as better education, or maybe to end poverty because they have had to go through many struggles themselves. Or you can actually have kind of the activist or entrepreneur who is already doing a lot of things. And I think we would like to have both stories. If you find an aspiring entrepreneur, in your case, you're talking about a minister, it would be great to ask them, one, of course, what he's doing in his official capacity, but really try also to get this personal angle. Why did he become a minister? And why is he doing what he's doing? Because I think that's something that people find interesting. What is the personal touch with a certain story? So yeah, so not only that he is explaining himself and saying, well, I'm the minister of, let's say, Netherlands of Trade and Development, and I'm doing X, Y, Z for other countries or in my work, but also ask them the personal, but why did you become minister in the first place? And what is it that you are so passionate about that you're now on this seat today? And what is something that you would like to leave behind? Say, let's say after your term as minister comes to an end.
Thanks a lot for that.
Okay.
Just one last question is that I hope you remember that recently I emailed you about this wildlife conservation NGO in Indonesia, in Yogyakarta. And I think one of the follow-up emails from you said that, like, if I intend to, like, write something and, like, for this to be shared in any of the platforms, it needs to be of a certain quality. So my question is, where can I check this, like, this quality, as in, like, which website are we talking about, or, like, which platforms? Is it UNDP, or, like, is there, like, other platforms I can, like, so that, like, I know that what is the standard that I need to follow, like, what is the style?
Okay, good question. Well, actually, we have so many different platforms. Of course, we have the easiest ones, the UNSCX campaign itself. So our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, our website where we publish most of our blogs. So that's of course, the most obvious channels. Then, if your story is specifically related to a certain team or SDG, we could look at our colleague from UN in those different areas. We'll focus on the specific issues and ask them, for example, hey, could you do something with the story we have received? So, for example, in the past, before I worked with the UN in my advocacy capacity, I did some stories which were shared by the campaign, but then in some cases they also shared it, let's say, for example, with UN Women, who then uploaded it on their main website, and which got us like millions of views and a lot of attention. So that really depends on the quality we get. So when you send it to us, the first step is, of course, for us to judge, like, okay, hey, this is something that can go on our website and that we are happy to share. And the second...
Hello?
Yeah,
I can't hear you again.
Yeah, you're having a lot of background noise. And the second step is, after we have judged that the story is good enough for our communication channels, the second step is then to see, well, hey, if it has such a specific angle that we think our colleagues from UN Women or the UN Environment will be interested in it, then we will be able to send it forward to them.
Okay. So maybe the standard I should be looking for is the final website, like, for example, UN Environment in this case, right? I think so. I think now I have an idea.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, thanks for joining in this way.
Thank you very much.
Any of the other advocates, do you have any questions remaining? Otherwise, I would also thank you very much for being here. As I said before, everyone who wasn't able to attend is able to watch this back on YouTube to the link provided by my colleague. And next week we're going to do the same again, same hour, or maybe we're going to schedule it a little bit later so that some people, more people might be able to join. But thanks for sharing your updates. Thanks for asking questions. And I think you're all well on the way. So keep up the good work and yeah, stay in touch.
Thank you, Will.
Great, thank you.
Okay, thank you all.